William.
It has been too long.
At least a year.
Yeah.
This is a long time.
Girl, I ain't gonna use the C word, but there has been a global crisis, and I'm just glad we're both safe and we are here. Eurovision has happened.
Yes.
What a show.
Oh, babe.
What a show.
We've got to talk about, I think we can't do it in this video, but you and I, we've just got to have a back chit chat. This is like the first Eurovision I haven't been to like in 18 years, and you slayed.
Oh my God.
I was like, I loved it with Suzanne and Diego and Esma. It was like a moment.
Oh, Sinan, Suzanne, Diego, Esma. It was an amazing time. In any case, not everything was amazing at Eurovision. There was a lot of stuff that went wrong, from jury-televote wrongs to technical issues. There are a lot of crimes, and I think we should talk about it. Are you ready?
Let's do this!
All right, Devin, let's kick this off with number 10. This was the semi-final one jury show in-ear disaster.
If you feel what I feel, see what I see, don't bring yourself down.
Yeah, you know, I wasn't there, so this is a point that you're going to really, really flesh out. Because I read about it on Wiwibloggs.com, but how bad was it?
Well, Roxanne from Romania had the worst of it. So in the running order, I believe it was Romania, Ukraine, then Malta, the final 3 acts. And Romania's in-ear clearly was not working. She can sing in time. And yet in the jury final, we were all like, what the heck is happening? Because she was completely off. And it was getting to her. You saw the stress. You saw the anxiety. She's been working so hard for this moment for 2 years, really. Because remember, she was going to go last year. And then to have this technical hiccup, which frankly shouldn't have happened. They've only had, 2 weeks of rehearsals to perfect the in-ear system. It's one of the most basic things, right? Like the thing you should focus on. And so she was singing several beats behind or ahead. I can't remember. It was a disaster. And she was stressed. She was falling apart. We were all like in the press room like this. And it wasn't her fault. It wasn't Romania's fault. This was the producer's fault.
But didn't she get to have another go?
So she did get to have another go, but it shouldn't come to that, right? Like this is your moment. This is where you want to show your best. And she was ready to do that. And then to have that happen, it's like someone tripping you. It's like Usain Bolt running at the Olympics and someone throwing a banana peel onto the track. This also affected Ukraine and Malta, but I think the producers were clearly aware of something because it got became less and less of an issue. Like Ukraine, you heard her off, Katerina, but then she managed to recover. And I think part of that was because the Ukrainian song had such a beat, she could probably find her place more easily. Than the Romanians, because the Ukraine song was loud and like thumping and boom, boom, boom. And also like the motions that her people were doing and the lighting, she could probably spot where she was. She recovered as a point. And then with Malta, there was no problem. We were like, why is Malta performing again? Because there was literally no problem.
For gold.
Yeah, getting more exposure. But anyways, Romania did recover. And then when she performed again, it was fantastic. And, maybe you could argue it helped her because juries were like, you go girl, you recovered, you came back from that. But ultimately it shouldn't have happened, and that's why it's a crime.
I agree. It shouldn't have happened. It really shouldn't have happened. And it really shouldn't have happened. Because, it's never as good as the first time.
No.
You're all gearing up for this excitement and everything, and then you're given the sort of green light, and then you're several beats out, and then you have to do it again, and it throws you off balance, really. Yeah, it shouldn't have happened.
Absolutely. And Devin, our number 9 crime is San Marino's low grand final result.
And San Marino, you have received from the public 13 points. What? 13 points.
Yeah, honestly, I thought that Sanit was going to get San Marino's best ever result. I mean,
Yeah.
she opened the semi-final, she opened her semi-final, and she closed the grand final. I mean, these were like really sweet spots. You couldn't have pushed it any harder.
Fun song, super energetic, very modern, you know, it had that Swedish Melfest kind of gloss. Ended up
Featuring an American global megastar.
a six-figure megastar. Sorry, six-figure fee megastar. I'm sure he's got some seven figures in his bank account. Flo Rida.
Hey guys from Wiwibloggs, ciao, this is Anita.
Out in the building.
Yes, be ready for tomorrow. We burn the stage with
Bringing that
adrenaline.
adrenaline.
Listen, San Marino came 22nd overall. The
Yeah.
jury put San Marino 18th in the final, and televoters only put San Marino 21st. So they finished ahead of the four no-pointers. Then in 22nd, you had Belgium with 3 points in televote, and then San Marino got 13 televote points. Why do you think people didn't respond to this in the grand final?
You know, I think that sometimes, you know, Eurovision, as we often say, is on trend, you know, so it's kind of what people, you know, it's like the mood of the week or of the night. And, you know, I think a lot of us wrongly predicted that coming out of Corona, we're going to need dancey, happy, clappy songs. If you think about it, you know, Cyprus, which I think was actually better than San Marino.
It was good.
Yeah, so the jury's put that in 16th position. So it was only 2 points, you know, 2 places ahead of San Marino. So if you look at it from that perspective, that's fair, you know? Is Cyprus just being like a couple of spots ahead of San Marino? But of course, there were low bars to begin with in terms of, you know, I didn't see that being like an 18th place finisher. But then you can argue as well that actually the jury points were even more favorable than the general public. So you can't really...
The public was clearly just not feeling it. One theory, which Oliver Adams, a Wiwiblogger, mentioned, is he had seen that people thought San Marino was the interval because it came last and Flo Rida was there. Like, some people got confused and said it wasn't voting. It wasn't a recap, mind you.
I don't think that's
It's just bizarre.
No, I don't think that's a really good point.
I love Serhat, but I think Adrenalina is deserving of being the highest placing San Marino act ever. And it's clearly not.
Well, I'm going to beg to slightly differ on that. I'm balanced on it. So had Adrenalina taken over, I wouldn't have been upset by it. But I think Serhat is a worthy...
Oh, good.
Yeah, you know?
It's taking over me, woo, like a love wave. Yes. Okay, Devin, another crime which got a lot of attention on our social media channels. This is Croatia's Albina not qualifying from semifinal 1 despite placing in the top 10 with both televoters and the jury.
And despite being possibly my biggest grower. You know, I wasn't keen on this. I fell in love with her when I watched your interview. It was like 2 kilograms of hair and dancing on a plinth. You know?
She's amazing.
That takes a lot of balls. And I think, really, if this was vis-a-vis Norway, who the jury didn't even put through, Croatia all the way.
Yeah, we've got to say that this is determined by points that you get. When you add up the points, it just so happened she fell out of the top 10, 110 points compared to Norway's 115 points. Televoters put her 9th, whereas televoters put Norway 8th, and the jury put Norway 12th, but Croatia 10th. Now, there's been a lot of talk about effin' ticks and how sort of the romance between Effendi, or the showmance, depending on your position, between Effendi and Tix helped push Norway through. Look, this is...
You gotta use what you have
Exactly.
to get what you want. You
no
know?
hate, no shade to
And
anyone.
if that's gonna be your genitalia, all the best for it.
Be your genitalia. If that's going to be your PR strategy, perhaps might be a better way to phrase that.
I've been trying to, I've been reading on Wikipedia. I've been reading a lot about Azerbaijan, Azerbaijani traditions, and I've been trying to learn some language, and we're here, first of all, we're here to show our... Well, you know, the language of love is really all I need.
I just think Albina was so deserving. This was Croatia's sleekest looking stage show since they've been back at Eurovision.
Yeah.
This, as Sinan Sadullah would say, I felt like I was in the O2 Arena paying £300 to see a superstar. Do you know what I mean? Like, this had that level of choreography, of lighting, of effect, of personality, of charisma, of backing dancers, of theatrics.
I agree with all of that, except I couldn't care less for the song. Like, the song was like the weakest element.
That was the weak point.
That was the weakest element. I didn't really get TikTok. I'm like, yeah, whatever. But I would have put her through.
Yeah.
I would have put her through. I mean, we're talking 10 spots here.
Yeah.
Actually, I would have comfortably put her through.
So who would you have kicked out? These are the qualities.
Norway is out for me.
Really?
Out. Like out. Dead last out.
He had a beautiful emotional
Oh,
moment.
I'm over it,
I really enjoyed Tix and his performance.
I didn't even like it at, what do you call it, Norsk Melody Grand Prix.
All right, well, we're going to move on. Okay, we're going to step away from the actual results for a moment. Our number 7 crime is the exclusion from the intervals of both Anouk and Ilse DeLange, the queens who paved the way for the Netherlands' resurgence at Eurovision.
Actually, I'm going to say single-handedly the queen, Anouk, who paved the way. Queen for a day, queen for a moment.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, she... Oh my gosh.
Birds falling down the rooftops.
Not only is Anouk an amazing talent.
Yeah.
I mean, with how many number 1 albums has she got under her belt?
Rock on, babe.
I mean, but also she makes great TV. The only sort of coach ever in The Voice history to kick out 2 acts instead of to send both home.
So I totally respected the intervals that the Netherlands
Who were
did
they?
choose. I have to think Glynis Grace,
Oh, yeah.
Afrojack, Davina Michelle. That was all great.
Oh, but you know what? It was not star-powered, was it?
I gotta say, I think you need to honor... It's kind of like during Pride Month, you remember the people who struggled
Absolutely.
so that you could have basic rights. The Netherlands' resurgence at Eurovision was paved by Anouk, because Anouk took a risk. She said, okay, we've been doing pretty bad. We've not qualified in
She
years.
was Harvey Milk.
In a way, yeah. She was, yeah. What's the word?
Martha P. Johnson. I mean, like...
Marching at the front of the parade.
Yeah.
Ready to take on the media criticism if they change.
Massive risk for a big star
Yeah.
going in to save a country that has not qualified 8 times in a row.
A laughingstock of Eurovision.
Oh, yeah.
They were a laughingstock of Eurovision. And she said, I'm going to go and I'm going to do well. And she did.
And she saved it with a song that was completely unexpected.
Yeah.
You know, she didn't kind of pander to what she thought Eurovision might be.
Absolutely.
She did her own.
And then Ilse DeLange has said in interviews, you know, Ilse, of course, came second with the Common Linnets in 2014. They could have won in another year if Conchita wasn't there, blah, blah, blah. She said in interviews the reason she was brave enough to go was because Anouk had proven you could succeed. So while Ilse did a great job, she herself admits that Anouk, she's the queen of the
Anouk
resurgence.
is the queen, boo.
Yeah.
And then what happened when Oyster House tried to join the pack?
That's called having too strong of an opinion and not being willing to listen to the people who came before you, not being willing to listen to advice.
The team.
Maybe releasing a song too early, not thinking more carefully, not waiting, not
Several
holding
factors.
back. Questionable costume.
Questionable costume.
We're gonna move on. Number 6, and this is sort of pre-Eurovision. It happened during the national selection season. This was, let me choose my words carefully. This was the nonsense, the offensive nonsense coming out of Belarus.
Okay, let's actually pause and review what happened. When Belarus released its song, the EBU rejected it after looking into the lyrics. This is how I described it on BBC Radio at the time.
So why has this song been rejected?
Well, on Tuesday, Belarus revealed their act, and the group goes by the name The Voices of Reason, and their song translates to I'll Teach You. So it's very much a preachy perspective. We have a message for you to listen to. And when you listen to those lyrics, you start to read a very strong subtext. They say, I'll teach you how to dance under my pipe. I'll teach you how to bite the fishing rod. I'll teach you how to walk on a string. In the context of their back catalog, they're very pro-Lukashenko. They've spoken out against pro-democracy protesters who they say on their official website tried to destroy the country. So taken together, this is a very political message that sort of slaps protesters in the face and invokes politics, which is expressly forbidden at Eurovision.
This is the full statement that the EBU released at the time. As part of the regular procedure for all songs submitted to compete in the Eurovision Song Contest, the EBU has carefully scrutinized the Belarusian song Ya Noche Tebya I'll Teach You by Galasi Zemesta to ensure it complies with the rules of the competition. It was concluded that the song puts the non-political nature of the contest in question. In addition, recent reactions to the proposed entry risk bringing the reputation of the ESC into disrepute. We've written to the broadcaster BTRC, which is responsible for Belarus's entry for the Eurovision Song Contest, to inform them that the song in its present form is currently not eligible to compete. Furthermore, we've requested that they take all necessary steps to submit a modified version or a new song that is compliant with the ESC rules. Failure to do so could result in disqualification from this year's contest.
My question to you is, Plan B, what was it?
There was no plan B, because if you really wanted to compete at Eurovision, you would send a song that doesn't offend people, that isn't expressly political, that isn't, to many, I don't speak Russian, but, encouraging violence, some people have said. This was just not in any way acceptable. And then to be given a second chance and to come back with something very similar, it shows your intentions and motivations.
The EBU gave Belarus a chance to submit a new song, but once again, the song was offensive and expressly political, and they were disqualified.
You know what? This was beyond facing the shadow, wasn't it? I mean, it's not even...
Oh, there's a helicopter, sorry. The sky is angry. Okay, Devin, the floor is yours, but the pleasure is mine, please.
Face the shadow. I mean, that just puts this in nursery territory. It went way, way, way too far. I mean, you couldn't even... I remember reacting to the video, which we never published, because you said my reaction was just so strong.
We were like, let's not give this any airtime.
Yeah, done. And let's just cut the airtime now. Yeah.
This is trolling us. This is not 2021. This can't be serious. The woman on the tambourine does not want to be here. They keep going, yeah, but I'm just like, nah.
William, I'm actually done. 1 minute, 37 seconds. I'm actually done. Done. But it was bad not to have Belarus in, because we want more countries, we want more participation, we want to celebrate, music.
Do you remember when Navi Band went? They sang in Belarusian. It was this beautiful moment. You felt like you were experiencing something new, exciting, heartfelt, warm, lovely. You found 2 new stars you could follow. I missed that.
Light Sound, Alyona, Yanskaya, Ivan. I mean, there was just a lot of good music coming from Belarus, actually.
A lot of good staging as well. Like, even the narrative with Zaina sort of like...
Are you gonna like it?
Yeah, like going from being like a non-qualifier to sneaking through. The point is the music. Not considering anything political, any of this drama, just enjoying the music.
Yeah.
And I missed that, the purity.
Yeah, and also... Yeah, there was just a lot around it, which just so unsavory, and it kind of took the contest in a
dark place, and then you end up having one less country at Eurovision, and it's just unfortunate for everyone. We move on. Number 5, the French jury not giving any points to Malta and Italy, who just happened to be ahead of them in the betting odds.
Easy, I'm not as suspect on that as you are, because they gave points to Switzerland.
But perhaps they understood that Switzerland was never going to do well with the public, or as well. Because wasn't Switzerland like 7th in the televote?
Oh, but Switzerland, to me, was more of a competitor than Malta and Italy.
Among the juries, but not overall.
Oh, no, but if you think about what France is offering, Switzerland is the next closest option. And if they can be generous to Switzerland, then I don't think that this is as politicized as you make of it. Taking Malta as an example, the French televote didn't give Malta any points either.
You know, that's fine. Italy, for instance. Italy. Oh, they're the runaway favorites to win. The bookies all week, the past 2 weeks really, have said Italy's the one to beat, blanks them. I don't know, it just seems a little suspect to me.
I'm not so sure.
And Malta, because Malta was consistently considered a threat. Consistently. And a jury of 5 people being like, no.
But the televote didn't respond to Malta either.
You know, ultimately, it's all a matter of taste, but we could have this argument about so many countries. Like Ukraine, for instance. I think Ukraine deserved higher than 7th with the jury, but I think juries are naturally conservative. And so I think that's a crime.
I think it's a matter of taste. Is fair. I mean, if we're going to talk about points to countries and stuff like that, can we just talk about Ireland coming dead last? I mean,
do you think that was deserved?
No, I don't think it was.
Only one way to go. This is the way back.
Is it a crime?
You know what?
Is it a crime?
How many do we have to discuss?
No, but this is the point. I think, I accept your point. This gets into the nature of being really subjective, but there were Ireland coming last, I don't think I would have put it last.
I wouldn't have put it last.
I wouldn't have put it last.
I would not have put it last.
Is it taste? Is it a crime? That becomes a philosophical question.
I would not have put it last. Admittedly, the staging I wasn't a fan of. I mean, the latter half of it. Where it just comes into this open, barren stage.
To me, I think the issue with Ireland, I think we said this in another video, is that there was too much going on, and I think it was hard for Leslie to be free, because the thing I love about her, like in her music video, is the freedom.
I love her jumpsuit.
Oh, I love that. I loved the freedom in her music video. She was just doing her thing, these weird dance moves, which looked good, by the way. But I just think, on the treadmill, gotta remember this cue, gotta grab this. I think it was just too much going on. It was overcomplicated.
I just wish that was sustained. What I didn't like was it was like a song in 2 halves, where she's doing all of that, and then she comes to this barren stage with no shoes, and then it's there's nobody in the arena. It just looked really empty.
But I understand wanting to kind of tell people where we are, because she's been in this mystical world. I can see an argument for both. Ultimately, it didn't work. I accept that.
I think if you're going to have really strong camera cues, give me Benjamin Ingrosso and let me immerse myself in it. Don't take
we know how that did in the televote in the grand final.
With all due respect, it was a top 10 finish,
The jury loved it, yes. All right, we move on. Number 4. This is 4 countries getting 0 points.
0. I mean, it's bad.
And the United Kingdom, 0 points.
Germany, 0 points.
And the public points going to Spain are another 0 points.
The Netherlands, 0 points.
So I accept that someone could get 0 points, yeah.
United Kingdom. I think of the 4 of them, United Kingdom.
Given that it also got 0 televotes.
I mean, it was just bad.
But is something wrong with the scoring system if it allows for 4 people to get nothing? Is there something wrong with the scoring system, or do you think it's fair? Because it does make for great TV. Let's be honest. What are we talking about now? What's the number 4 crime on the Wiwibloggs
and as much as
video?
As much as I like, Germany's I Don't Feel Hate, I didn't like the middle finger.
What?
It was unnecessary. I think things don't need to be so literal. It's like we're not in 1972 anymore.
So you think it deserves it? The thing is, I gotta say, the other 2 being Spain and the Netherlands.
Definitely didn't deserve 0.
What, Spain?
No. Did you not like it? Did you not like his quiff? It's similar to yours.
Oh, I think Blas is an amazing person, but this is not about who's an amazing person. This is about a performance. And I think ahead of Eurovision, within Wiwibloggs, certainly you, me, well, not necessarily you, but other Wiwi jury members, when we talked about who will finish last, people floated UK, Germany, and Spain.
Okay.
It was kind of in the atmosphere.
Leaving the Netherlands as the unfair candidate to score 0 points. I
didn't think that was going to get 0. I didn't, but rewatching it, I understand why it got 0. I do, but I just thought people, maybe it doesn't transmit on TV, because when you're in the arena for the host country, I remember this, in Baku, when Sabina Babaeva went on, there's this energy. And in the Netherlands, there was
that
this
has
energy.
been replicated ever since.
The Sabine Babaeva.
Yeah.
No, I gotta say, in the Netherlands, it was replicated. It was amazing.
Really?
Because it was the 2-year wait for Eurovision. They were the host country. It was, I felt tingles everywhere. It was a moment. But on the actual camera, maybe it was a little boring.
You know, I think for me, the biggest take home, the Netherlands was a contender the previous year. Could have actually challenged for victory. But we all knew that the birth of a new age was not birthing any new scores on that league table.
No, and it wasn't. It was a different reason. It was,
vibe.
you know, he was giving a spiritual message. It was a message, and it was wonderful.
It was too introspective, you know?
Yeah, it's okay, but I think that's okay. It wasn't a competitive song, but I do think it's a good song.
Oh, I do think I'd listen to it all the time.
But anyways, the 0 points, though, I do think it's weird when 4 countries get 0 points, because when you're watching it, you're like, this has to be a joke. Like, this is a scoring error. This is a computer glitch. Do you know what I mean? Should they not have it where...
safety in numbers. I mean, who would you isolate?
I think maybe they just need to rejig the scoring system so that only one country can get 0.
No, I think it's fine.
It does make for great TV, though.
It's fair. But even with this...
And I do not advocate a junior Eurovision system at the adult Eurovision where everybody gets 12 points.
Oh, is that what?
This is not CBeebies. You know what I'm saying? This is the adult Eurovision Song Contest.
Yeah, I'm not so opposed to it.
So was this a crime, though?
Yeah, I think it's a crime.
So you're not opposed to 4 countries getting 0, but it's a crime.
It's a crime from a discussion point of view.
Tell me what's criminal about 4 countries getting 0. I'm just curious. I just want to hear your opinion. Because I've missed in Rotterdam being able to challenge you and push you on things.
Well, I think that you go to Eurovision to to drop songs that people are going to respond to. You know, you have juries and you have the televote. You know, the points are split. And I think that... Oh, you know what's the biggest crime, actually?
Tell me. But speak up, boo, because the camera mic is open.
The biggest crime, what are we saying? Netherlands, Germany,
Spain.
United Kingdom. They're all the big 5. They're the automatic qualifier countries. You know, so actually, you know what? The take home here is rejig, not just the scoring system, but the qualification system.
At the same time, number 1 and number 2, Italy and France, big 5.
Yeah.
So it's like yin and yang.
But then, credit to those who earn it.
But the thing is, I don't like the... Well, maybe...
Don't you think Italy and France would have qualified from the semi anyway?
Regardless, they would have qualified
so
regardless.
You know what? Why not have a semi for all apart from the host country?
I was about to say, only the host country.
Yeah. Host country, sails
But Devin, we do need the big 5 money to make Eurovision happen.
Do you know what? I'm so sick
do.
of this argument.
What's
that dinner party argument you always come up with?
If you throw the dinner party, you are entitled to eat. Okay? Can you imagine? I hate when you're at a potluck and you bring some elaborate, you know, Nigella Lawson, aubergine, what is it, involtini, you know her dish with the aubergine and the mozzarella? Okay, let's call it a beef feta. You bring in a Nigella beef feta, which you took all this time to make. Everybody else eats it, and then you're left with, like, I don't know, fried rice. I don't want no fried rice.
You need rice.
You do need rice.
Oh,
but I want some cauli rice, girl, because I'm trying to keto it. All right, we need to move on. Our number 3 crime of Eurovision 2021, this was the turquoise carpet event in which Iceland, Poland, Malta, and Romania were unable to attend because of the ugly C word. Now, we're not throwing shade on the organizers. We're throwing shade on a certain virus.
And, you know, I mean, this is a point that you can really expand on because this is your favorite segment of
My favorite.
every Eurovision season. So you love the red carpet. I mean, that omission for you, what was that like?
It was just so upsetting. I remember, so basically, just to recap, Iceland and Poland had positive corona tests in their delegation. So obviously, they had to stay home. It's upsetting for them. They're here for 2 weeks. They've been waiting, in the case of Iceland, for 2 years. This is their moment. They're ready to get dressed up, to show up, to turn out, to do interviews. just to feel like stars. They've earned this, right? Because we've got to remember, in day-to-day life, I mean, Rafał from Poland, and actually Dadi has great recognition as well. But, you know, this is not a George Clooney scenario every day for them, right? There are certain moments where they can kind of celebrate their stardom, and this is one of them. And sadly, because of the positive test, they couldn't. Now, it's the right decision, obviously.
I really like what you said, because a lot of people think the red carpet is just a selfie opportunity.
Oh, please.
But it's more than that, isn't it?
No. It's for the singers to feel like stars before they enter the second week, in which they're much more isolated. I mean, let's just clarify, we don't think they should have been on the red carpet because they cannot be spreading you know what I'm saying? Like, it was the right decision from a health perspective. It's just unfortunate that the Big C did this to the acts. And then also Malta and Romania, because they were staying in the same hotel, they also had to stay home. So there was a picture of Destiny on her Instagram, all dressed up and crying. Because she found out like hours before.
That mascara was just running down her cheeks. Poor girl.
I mean, I could show you. Let me do a Suzanne Adams, Robin Gallagher. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is going to be a very simple drawing. Yeah. It's going to be a very simple drawing. So these are tears. These are tears.
Boy, that's a happy face. That's a smile, girl.
Oh, wait. I'm just wait, hold on. Frowny. I'm just so used to drawing happy faces. Okay, all that mascara. Do you see all that mascara?
Yeah, that's more like it.
Thank you, sorry. I don't do frowny faces. So that was upsetting. And Roxanne as well. But Roxanne did something really beautiful. They sent us photos of her doing sort of an impromptu photo shoot. Was she in the bathroom or the gym? I can't remember. But it was an impromptu photo shoot of her looking really elegant, all done up, sadly with nowhere to go.
Yeah. And of course, you know, it went beyond the red carpet because Iceland... Okay.
Well, girl, that actually leads us to point number 2, which is...
Yeah, Iceland couldn't even get to perform live. And more to the point, Australia, which is also a part of Eurovision, couldn't even get to attend the event because there were travel restrictions in Australia.
Let's make it even broader. That coronavirus disrupting Eurovision. Not 1 year, 2 years in a row. And obviously, we totally respect all procedures in place to keep everyone safe. We agree that these artists had issues that they faced. We understand why they couldn't perform. It's just the very fact that this virus was still around and still causing trouble. Yes, so point 1, Australia...
It was like 2 years in, right?
Yeah, so Australia couldn't go to Eurovision.
So even though Montaigne wasn't there, she did perform via live on tape, and during the rehearsals at Eurovision, when they showed her performance, she gave a digital press conference. It was very, very emotional. Our girl was crying, understandably. She spoke with me the next day and elaborated on what she was feeling.
And yesterday you had your press meet and greet, and there was a lot of emotion, and it was very touching to see the honesty. This was not, a Miss Universe, everything is perfect moment. It was real. And this is why your fans love you, because Montaigne is real. Mm-hmm. Was it difficult speaking at the press conference yesterday?
Was it difficult? I don't know that it was difficult. It was difficult in the sense that, like, I was sort of experiencing this tension of like desire of wanting to be there, not getting to be, like this denial. But, like I'm not uncomfortable with expressing my emotions, frankly, and, being vulnerable. This is my job as an artist. And it was fine. Like I enjoyed, at least getting to be some kind of a part of the process, even if it was remote. Like, I think that's why it hit me so hard, is because I was like seeing people on stage. I was seeing the press room. I was looking at Wiwibloggs stuff just before I went in, and like seeing, like you interview Lenny and stuff. And like, I don't know, that just made me feel like, that's what made me feel like I was missing out, but it's also what made me feel more connected to the thing I was doing. So, yeah.
I've just got to say, it was a kind of tingle-inducing moment. And we were all like sending you a big digital hug. I was sending a digital kiss. Forgive me. I know it's the COVID era, but girl, please accept. It was just this, I don't know. We feel so much love for you. And I hope you feel it down there, because it's real and sincere.
Yeah, I can feel it. Definitely feel it. Definitely felt it. It was very lovely.
Australia could not go to Eurovision for a second year in a row. And we understand the reasons. They didn't want to bring the virus back to Australia.
No, but I thought the airspace was closed.
No, because they do send athletes to compete in tournaments. There's a clause that says if you're doing something in the national interest, you can go abroad.
Oh, then that's not fair.
Well, so...
Then that's not fair.
The kind of public statement was that SBS and Montaigne decided they didn't want to travel at the risk of being the people to bring back the virus.
Oh, please.
Which does in some ways sound like corporate speak for we don't want to go. Because the thing is, you have to test to come back, right? You have to test. So, and then you have to quarantine.
On return.
Australia's very good with these procedures.
Yeah, that's not a good one.
So in some ways, it's like,
And it did hurt them, because I feel that if Montaigne had been in the Netherlands, that would have qualified.
I loved her live on tape performance. I loved it.
Yeah, and if everybody had done a live on tape, she would have qualified. But it didn't work. And you could argue and say that, well, Iceland came fourth, but Iceland didn't look like...
Because they were on the same stage.
Yeah, they were on the same stage. It was quite seamless. And their rehearsal was on point.
So the other part of this, which we've touched on, is that Iceland, because of the positive corona test, they had to use their rehearsal footage. They still did very well. I actually think for Iceland, it may have benefited them. It became such a media story. I was on BBC Breakfast, actually, the day of the final with Daffy. And he was talking about how... Actually, in a tweet later, he said, I'm so sick of people always asking me how I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because it's like a mourning. It's like mourning. It was traumatic. Like, they've had this one year. They were the favorites to win last year, ripped from them. They come back this year, and then, oh, sorry, you can't compete.
Daffy, how are you feeling? So you've kind of, everything you can do in order to perform and, compete, you've done. That's it now.
That was traumatic, and they were coming to terms with it, and everyone was asking him about it, and it was in every newspaper in every country. So I wonder if that narrative actually did give them a boost.
I'm not sure if it did, but one thing I do think is that people did remember them from last year. And actually, it's easy because, they kept the whole look, the uniform, and they had these quirky dance routines. And I think that people hung on to their favorites. Iceland really does stand out. From a visual perspective. So people were kind of excited to have them back.
What's interesting is both of us, I feel like last year they would have won. Now, seeing how they did this year with this song, I think they would have won last year.
Yeah.
Or been they would have been top two.
Oh, Lithuania was tough. It was solidly strong too,
Yeah, and also Uno. Oh, and Tears getting sober.
Yeah.
Actually, last year was competitive. Let's move on. But there's one more actually, Devin, in this Corona kind of bullet point. Duncan Lawrence not being able to hand the trophy over to Måneskin. And obviously he shouldn't because he had tested positive for corona. We're not saying, but we're just saying it's an unfortunate circumstance.
Yeah. Because, in previous years, I'm sure there've been artists who've been sick, but they've kind of just put makeup on and just come on stage. But this kind of sickness, or you may not even be sick.
Yeah.
You could just test positive. It changes the game. Like, you're excluded and, then everybody's retested. Like, they did the right thing. But couldn't he have, done it virtually?
Entered in an isolation tunnel, gone to the stage, or maybe not, stood 300 feet up. No, it's not possible. He could have been outside virtually.
Because the thing is, handing the trophy, how significant is that? It's more symbolic than anything else. Everybody knows that he won in 2019 and, these are the new winners. Yeah.
This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius.
Aquarius.
Anyways, all right, Devin, it is time to reveal our number one biggest crime of Eurovision 2021. Let's actually do this by example. I want you to take the position of someone committing the crime. I'm going to physically take a position, and I want you, thinking like someone who committed this crime, to tell me what you think I'm doing. What am I doing?
Well, I can see you're watching porn.
No, what am I doing?
Oh, I'm not supposed to say that, sorry.
What am I doing?
Girl, we can't even see you.
What am I doing?
I can't see you.
What am I doing?
But you're not doing it.
No, what am I doing?
Girl, I need you to sniff.
What am I doing?
You want me to say you're taking drugs?
Yeah, but you know what? I was actually looking for my glass. I went like that because I had to scratch my nose and I was picking up a glass, which is broken. The number one crime of Eurovision 2021 is the internet spreading fake news, getting whipped up into a frenzy, alleging that Thomas and Damiano was snorting cocaine during the grand final because that's something you would do, on a TV show with 200 million people watching. This was just tomfoolery. This was tomfoolery. Twitter, fake news, stealing the moment of a band who overcame the odds and won Eurovision.
What I love about that clapback was like, oh no, we don't do cocaine. Oh, well, you specified the drug.
No, they said they don't do drugs. We filmed this, we got this video.
Thomas break.
Yeah, exactly.
Thomas break a glass
Yeah,
with
he's
his
not
leg.
too...
I don't use drugs, please, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't say that really. No cocaine, please. Don't say that.
He said we don't do drugs. In the past, they've spoken out very clearly and said they don't do drugs. They've always had an anti-drug stance. But people just love to stir drama.
Who admits to doing drugs?
They have a track record of being anti-drug. They took a drug test and they passed. And here's some tea for you.
What was the drug test taken?
Well, no, here's some tea for you. They wanted to take the drug test that night, but they weren't allowed to because
why not?
It was too late.
To take a drug test.
They requested to do it. I know this for a fact. They requested to take that test that very night, but were denied. It was 3 a.m., 2 a.m. People had places to be. Point of story is, I want to say that the Swedish journalist Tove Ek did his job correctly by asking about this at the press conference, because that was being said on the internet. He gave them an opportunity to shut it down, and they did. If he had not given him the opportunity, it would have festered. It would have festered. People would have kept on talking, but they clapped back and said, no, we did not do this. Leave us alone.
So what's the story? There was broken glass.
And the EBU...
Why would you sniff that?
He wasn't stiffening it. Devin, he wasn't sniffing it. He leaned over to pick up the glass because it's dangerous to have it around your feet, especially when you might end up winning.
So you pick up the glass by holding your
The
feet.
glass was broken. Thomas broke a glass.
Yeah.
The EBU, by the way, after they said this, went to the table.
Then
they confirmed there was broken glass. This is a non-story, but because Twitter, as we know, Twitter says all sorts of things. A narrative was created, and it was just unfortunate because in a way it overshadowed their victory moment. Funny.
Oh, no, because these Måneskin are like, they've blown up bigger than any other. Do you know what?
They've blown up.
They've blown up.
There
was talk earlier that, give it to France because of this drug scandal. I'm like...
And you know what our girl Barbara Pravi said?
What?
No way. She said this is some nonsense. Yeah. They won fair and square. The French delegation, what did they say? This is some nonsense. Italy won fair and square. So the only people having drama about this were on social media. Okay? We know this.
As is often the case.
As is so often the case. But you know what? Now Måneskin, they're just running, picking up coins, picking up invitations, picking up appearances. I wanna be your slave, I wanna be your master, wanna be a a roller coaster.
Oh, look at
Love that song. But listen, Hunty.
She's a fan.
She's a fan. Now, quickly, before we go...
I don't care for these honorable
Well, we're just going to quickly... These are things
care.
Our readers said. Our readers had so many comments. One thing that kept coming up, people were annoyed that Albania... Oh, I just burped. People were annoyed...
Smells of roses.
Oh, thank you. People were annoyed that Albania was given second in the running order for the grand final for the second edition in a row. And on that same note, she can sing, and some people were annoyed. Someone said this is their worst performance in the grand final ever, in terms of ranking. I haven't confirmed.
Yeah, well, excuse me. So many non-qualifications.
I mean, Ladida Halimi didn't even make the final.
And they did Tarifa.
Didn't even make the final. So, true. A lot of people talked about Greece's green screen. They said it was a crime. This wasn't sorted out. But I mean, you do need the artist there
She
to sort
still
it out.
came top 10.
She did amazing. I thought it looked great. She sounded great. She got her silver plaque, silver play award for hitting 100K on YouTube.
The music video is considerably better though.
I thought they did a cool job. I liked it. A lot of people were annoyed that Malta had to perform sixth. Was it sixth in the running order?
Somebody has to perform sixth. Then what would you say about Cyprus?
It was a perfect show opener. It was the perfect show opener. But I think with Malta, and it was on Facebook. Not Destiny's manager, but Howard had said, you know, why do we have to go sixth? Why can't we go later in the running order? Are they penalizing us? And you can understand why. They were one of the favorites. They won their... he speaks his mind. They won their semifinal, and yet they weren't allowed to go last in the first half. Make of that what you will.
They closed their semi.
It's also a fair point. This is also
they closed their semi.
There are a lot of ways. No, there are a lot of ways to look at this. I'm not taking sides. I'm just saying what our readers were saying. Our readers were annoyed at Bulgaria's low televote result.
I felt Bulgaria 11th? Are you kidding me?
No.
Are you kidding? No. 11th overall.
Yeah, they were 18th in the televote.
That
Bulgaria
blows my
was
mind.
18th.
I'm sorry. If Bulgaria actually won, I would have been like, that's deserved.
Yeah, and the juries got this more. They put it, sixth? They put it quite high. The juries put Bulgaria
18th in the televote.
18th in the televote. And again, Devin, to your earlier point, can you call it a crime if it's just a matter of personal taste?
No, I don't think...
But this is... I was shocked. I was shook and shocked.
That's the one that shocks me the most.
I was both shook and
Bulgaria
shocked.
was excellent.
It was so touching.
Good.
It was so emotional.
I mean, that sort of sandfall. I mean, that was such a moment.
It was the whole thing was a moment.
Oh.
This was fabulous. Our readers also don't like... We talked about Ireland coming last.
And we talked about Albania, so we're not
the jury score of Ukraine. A lot of people didn't like it coming 7th in the grand final.
7th!
A lot of people didn't like the upbeat songs coming so low in the grand final. If we look in the grand final, the jury put on the right-hand side, Lithuania, Moldova, Cyprus, San Marino, Azerbaijan, Serbia. These were all upbeat songs, and they all finished right-hand side. Your answer would be someone has to. Someone has to come on the right. It's a deep field.
You've got to fill the lower ranking.
Gotta say, I thought Cyprus would be higher.
I agree.
I
don't think it's a crime, though. But yes, in my own world, Cyprus would have finished much higher.
It was so good. But were you not such a huge fan of it earlier in the season?
What, Cyprus?
Yeah. Did this grow for you? Was this a grower?
You're calling me out.
I'm just asking if it was a grower, because previously...
I'll tell you what was a grower. Atiti sam sam sam.
Atiti sam sam sam.
Hiya booty loco loco.
I'm glad you finally admitted this.
Oh, do you know what?
Because publicly all year you were keeping it on the DL, but you did not like Serbia.
I was in Skopje and
it's played everywhere.
Everywhere I went. Literally from I was hanging out with Tamara Tedesco a lot, and at the salon where she was getting her hair done, when she was getting a facial, when she was getting a pedicure, when we were walking around the city. Then we walked into a pizza restaurant, and
it's everywhere.
Literally, it's like, I was even surprised because I didn't think Eurovision songs prior to the contest get that much airplay.
Well, they made Serbians, people all over the Balkans, go loco loco. This was good. It's crafting a song, an earworm. This is an earworm. You may not think it's an amazing tune, but it's an earworm, and there's a lot to be said about
that was a
talent. And Devin, my biggest crime, actually, my number one crime, more so than any of these, is that you weren't in Rotterdam.
Oh, girl.
You were not in Rotterdam.
Girl.
It was like missing my third arm. Wait, that sounds vulgar. It was like missing one of my arms.
Third leg sounds vulgar.
You were nasty. No, but a lot of people missed you. We were so sad you weren't there.
Oh my God. Yeah. Do you know what? But I was so happy with the coverage. I mean, that live stream, I have to say, it was so great.
It was fun.
Just tuning in. Your interviews were so great. And even though...
Thank you. The Wee Jam at home, that was...
a moment.
That was a moment. You know, because we had a crisis where the video didn't go out, but then it ended up being by far our most viewed overall concert. Yeah, like by far.
Ever.
And to the point that I don't even want to have a real life Wee Jam. I just want to keep it online. It's so nice.
I mean, like, Effendi's Matahari was like nearly 330,000. You know, what I love as well was like all these funny moments you did. Like, even though you couldn't go out, like you had these student hotel dance-offs.
Love
like, you were doing stuff. And,
Love the student hotel. Thank you so much for letting the student within us live forever. It was amazing.
It was really good.
It was amazing.
It was really good. And, oh, do you know, so much I love about it. But my biggest take home was open up. I just love that slogan. And when you said what open up meant to you,
girl,
I fell in love with you
opening
all
up.
over again.
Don't open up a building. Don't open up a concert. Open up your heart. Open up your mind. That's what open up is about.
Oh my God.
It's not physical things. It's not tangible things. It's emotional things. That's where the value is, my girl.
It still stays with you, right?
What?
The slogan. It's still, you're still living it.
I'm open. Not 9 to 5, 24/7. All right? In any case, that's what we think. What do
She's open, all right?
Girl, that's what we think. What do you think? What are your top crimes of Eurovision 2021? It can be about the jury-televote results. It can be about the organization. It can be about whatever you want. Just gotta say, I love the organization. That's no shade. I'm just saying, your comments are valued. We hear you. We read them. We listen. You can say whatever you want. Oh, can I say one more crime? That the gorgeous open up carpet, which we did lots of our interviews on, like with Manisha, with Barbara Pravi, that is not for sale because it was beautiful. And I would buy that circular open up carpet if it was online.
They haven't delivered it yet.
It's not on sale.
Girl.
But that's a crime because it needs to be. It's gorgeous.
Girl, you gotta work that PR. Listen, don't be a criminal, right? Follow us on Pinterest.
Or TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And we will see you later. Bye!